I guess we can go ahead and officially start this meeting. With that, we're going to have, Robin, can you do it from the virtual and the here?
Yep.
Can you do a kind of a roll call? Actually, let's do an introduction. Let's go around the room. We're going to start inside the room. And Robin, you just keep track of everybody if you would, please. Go around the room and kind of do a short introduction because some of us is new to this full board. So Tiffany, I'm going to have you.
Okay, we're going to start on this end over here because I would like to introduce everyone to our new Workforce Services Manager. It's Kevin Moore. He brings a wealth of knowledge with him. Get that beauty hand away. Kevin, you want to tell a little bit about yourself?
So my name's Kevin Moore. I've been involved in the workforce and involved with the Career Center for about 15 years in different capacities. So I've actually worked for OVRs at one point. I worked for CDO and UI at one point. I worked with WIA before it became WIOA. So I've got a lot of knowledge. Expert wouldn't say that, but I'm happy to be here and look forward to working with everybody.
Right, glad to have you. Okay. Short intro.
Hannah Gregory, Quality Control Manager here at Bluegrass.
Arnold Thacker, Business Service Manager.
Erin Tipton, Bluegrass Community and Technical College. I'm the Vice President for Workforce and Economic Development.
Tiffany Reeves, Director of Workforce here in Bluegrass.
John Doherty, the chair representing business.
Ryan Henson, Regional Program Manager, Kentucky Office of Boca Raton.
Christian Wellman, part of Workforce itself and labor, but I'm with the Central Midwest Carpenters, formerly known as the Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio Regional Council of Carpenters. IQRCC was a mouthful, so they rebranded. Same name going on it, but everything's the same, just name change.
Hello, I'm Pam Hatcher, representing business.
I am Colin Mosley, Workforce Account.
Jeremy Hurd, IT Specialist and Trainer for the Bluegrass.
Robin, Program Assistant.
Robin, can I get you to call off the people? That way we keep the order here.
Okay, Michelle.
Michelle Deans. I'm a director with Cherry Beckard and representing business.
Todd.
Todd Bland, I'm the one-stop operator for the Kentucky Career Centers.
Stacy Thurman.
Stacy Thurman, HR Director, Wild Turkey.
Connie.
Connie Schnell, Regional Program Manager for our Career Development Office.
Matt.
Matt Montgomery, SAP and representing business in the treasurer.
Michael.
Michael Bushman, the Chief Financial Officer for Bluegrass Ed.
David.
Hello, David Sturgill. I'm with BCTC and I represent adult education.
Tiffany Walls.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Walls. I am the HR Manager for Summit Polymers in Lawrenceburg.
Stacy May.
Stacy May, Planning and Information Manager and Quorum Counter.
Debbie.
Hi, I'm Debbie Link. I'm the Executive Director of the Child Care Council of Kentucky, and I represent early childhood.
Jennifer.
Jennifer Hayes, Project Director for the Direct Service Provider.
Okay, I think that caught everyone. Is anyone else here?
Yeah, Darling Thomas, Greenhouse 17.
Who is that?
Sorry, we couldn't hear you.
It's Darlene Thomas. I think she's having some internet connection issues.
Oh, okay, all right. Thank you.
The way our screen looks, it's a little confusing to me.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank everyone for being here, virtually or in person. We've got some business items to take care of. We did have Boyle County presentation that was going to happen, and there was some conflict from schedules. Robin was telling me there was some problems with them making it here today? What was the problem?
Yeah, she had a schedule conflict come up, so she's going to come next time.
Okay.
next meeting.
Well, that will happen next time. I hear from Boyle County anyway, because that's some stuff going on over there. We got a couple action items. The approval of the minutes from our December 6th meeting was included in your packet. Surprisingly, it's only 3 pages wide, so that's not a whole lot of notes, not a whole lot of meeting information, but I assume everybody had a chance to look at that. And we'll look for a motion to approve or any discussion prior to that.
I make the motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Dave. Have a second?
I'll second.
You got a second right here in the room? All in favor, say aye or wave your hand at the screen.
Aye.
Thank you. That moves forward. I see no reason not to. The next one is our finance report, which is a pretty in-depth look this meeting. So I was telling Tiffany, I said, I hope Colin's got some long wind today to fill the air with a lot of information shared here.
Yeah, so we've got 3 months here from November, December, and January. Got a lot of catching up to do, but would you like me to walk you through each one, or would you like me to give you here's the 3-month change across those 3? Would that affect anybody's?
Well, I'm thinking, unless Matt, you have an opinion about that? I'm looking.
No, I was just gonna say, I mean, I think as a finance committee, we walk through it month by month. I think the 3-month change is probably more interesting to everybody, but if I don't want to keep anybody from digging into the details, if you want to hear each month.
Okay.
Well, I like to keep these meetings as simple as possible, so everybody can keep track, because digging into the weeds, some of us, especially me, we get lost. I mean, I get lost. So
Sure.
The simplest, best solution, easy, fast, you can get us.
I will go month by month. Yes, no problem at all. So in November 2023, we were at about, let's see, that was month number 5 on the year. So we were at 30% expended on our budget. That was compared with 43% in the prior year. In our admin costs, we were at 39%. That was compared with 45% in the prior year. Our adult expenditures were about 29%, and we were at 95% in the prior year. Dissipated worker was at 22%, as compared with 45% in the prior year. Our youth expenses were at 32%, as compared with the 51% in the prior year. And then our work experience was at 17% expended. That is, again, that is the requirement on our youth program funds. And then you can see the chart up there that shows nicely we're tucked into about 30% on that.
7/10/24. Thank you.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Dolly just joined us.
Hi, great.
So if nobody has any other concerns, I will move on to December. Okay. So that was November. December up here. Oops.
Then we got a front page, so yeah. As we're looking through, we get a front page in front of you.
So in December of 2023, that was month number 6, we were at 36% expended on our overall budget, as compared with 66% in the prior year. Our admin was up to 40%, as compared with 57% in the prior year. We were at 22% on adult, as compared with 122 in the prior year. Our dissipated worker was at 29%, as compared with 56 in the prior year. Youth was 38%, as compared with 64% in the prior year. And then our work experience was at 20%.
That's our mark, right? 40%. Good.
Well,
That month number 6.
we're at 20% of the total, so we've still got roughly $160,000 we're gonna cover for the rest of the year. And I was asked at the last, I don't believe if it was this board or was it the finance committee that asked? So regarding our draws for to pay back our direct service providers, I did add at the bottom of this December one, when we received the invoices for November and December, and you can see when we requested the draw. Those have already been paid out to Equus. As you'll see on the next one, our January draw was actually just accepted today. It was sent in last week and it was reviewed and they said they were going to process it. So, but going forward, we're going to put at the very bottom of these reports what the status is on our direct service providers invoicing and payment.
Okay, so I'm looking at the December
Yes.
at the bottom. That's the first time, and I appreciate seeing that. Shows that we received it on 12/11, and requested on 2/2. And then received another one on 1/11, requested again on 2/2. Is that on normal, like, time
Yeah,
period?
well, generally we want them both to go in at the same time, but some constraints in a review process, we got held up on that November one, but the January one, the turnaround is within a couple of weeks.
Okay, so
the
January
one, it's a lot better, so.
So January it was requested the 1st of February, so I got you.
So there is December. And then January is up. So at the end of January, we were roughly 43% expended on our overall budget. And that's compared with 70% in the prior year. Our admin costs were at 57% as compared to 65% in the prior year. Adult expenditures were at 27% as compared to 123% in the prior year. Our dislocated worker program was at 33%. That's compared to 59% the prior year. Youth was at 44%, as compared with 73% the prior year. And then we were still just a little bit, we were almost at 21% on our work experience. And that's compared with 94% in the prior year. And then you see at the bottom, our Equus invoice was received on the 12th, draw was requested on the 27th. And today we just got word that it was accepted, or it was processed. So probably tomorrow, maybe even like 9 o'clock tonight, I'll get email saying that it's been paid.
Oh, great.
Like that.
That's really quick as far as the timeline there.
Yeah, as soon as we get it, we'll send it the following day to Equus. Anybody have questions?
That's month 7, right? January is month 7.
January is month number 7. We got 5 left.
5 more months and 43% used and 60, well, a little bit less than 60% left for 5 months. And we expect to have a bank to hold, I guess, at the end of this year to kind of move forward with, right?
Correct. Yes, and we did have a slight reserve already built into the budget, so that we'll have something to cook with starting out at the start of this year.
So right now, I know that Equus for the Career Center Award and with some more work experience, at least directly with my company. So, so some more work experience is happening. So this is great. Always good. Anyone out on the Zoom call want to have questions or comments about what has been discussed here? Hearing none, I expected Matt. If there was any conversation, Matt, I expected you. So, Apparently, Matt, you're happy with what you heard.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's a finance committee. We were making sure there were no funds that we were going to lose out or have to give back, and that was the case. We were, looking at the percentage coming back. We were concerned or just asking questions about the run rate and where things were picking up. And I think Colin's answered those questions. I mean, we're not going to run out of funds. We're not going to have funds we have to give back. And, you know, they're managing enrollments as you would expect, you know, to kind of cover the rest of the time. So, yeah, I think I spent, you know, a couple hours with the team like a week or so ago. So, you know, again, if anybody else has questions and want to dig in, I want to give everybody an opportunity to do that.
Everybody's quiet.
Then I'll make a motion then that we approve the financial reports.
Yeah, looking for a second for that. Got a second from Ryan? All in favor? Wave your hand, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Colin, you done a good job.
Thanks, sir. Thank you, everybody.
Very, very nice.
Yes. All right, our last action item of this meeting says we're going to shift in strategic plan reporting, and we got Tiffany on deck for this.
Yep. So, you know, you all put a lot of work into developing the strategic plan, right? And each quarter, we just provide the little link that shows where we're sliding, right? So, but the one thing that I want to do is what I would hope that you all would be okay with us is twice a year, us set aside with our full board meeting to do a deep dive into it, right? Like, okay, so let's say the next meeting is June 5th, right? So we could discuss where we're at on our strategic plan, right? And what we have in mind for initiatives and things like that, going almost county by county, right? Because Fayette County, there's a lot of resources here, right? Might not be the politically correct way to say it, but Fayette County is kind of, it's easy hanging fruit. You have so many resources, so many organizations that do stuff. But what are we doing in Anderson County, right? What are we doing in Bourbon County? What are we doing in Boyle County, right? And the only way to really get that is to do the deep dive into this strategic plan, because this is what you all task us to do, right? So the only thing I want to do is make sure on twice a year, right, that we go over it. We put time into our board meeting to say, hey, what is going on with this? And I was just thinking, you know, if we do one in June, because we always have a board meeting in June, that gives you all information on different initiatives that are going on, different ideas that we have, things that we are going to try, right? And then we come back in December, whenever we have that meeting in December, and say, well, yeah, this is working great. Or, oh, look, we need some help on this because we tried this route and it's not working right. That's the thing. I think we really should report at least twice a year, good solid, you know, maybe 20 or 30 minutes, right? Just devoted to this strategic plan, because this strategic plan is connected with our local plan, which is connected with our regional plan, which is connected with the state plan. That's the big thing. That's what that's what it's about.
I like it. I think it's going to be a lot of legwork on the
That's what we're
staff.
supposed to do.
Well, yeah, that's true. But for us as a board, we're going to need numbers on what we got accomplished,
Correct.
what we, you know, our goal was, all that. So, yeah, I like
You
it.
got it.
I know. It's just going to keep it honestly and then divvy it out. You know,
Yep.
that's a moving number that changes daily, if not weekly, for sure. So, yeah, I love it. I'm all for that. So on this idea of a shift in strategic plan reporting, we got a conversation that wants to be had from our audience out there. Is everybody good with, you know, having a little bit deeper meeting on June and then also December, because that could sponsor, you know, like Tiffany said, 20, 30 minutes of dedicated time. I appreciate that. I think that if we really get deep dive, we might even be a little bit longer than that. But I don't, you know.
Yeah, because I mean, and here's my thought process with it, right? If we're not meeting some of these metrics, which we're doing good, you know what I mean, on most of them, but like we really do need to report to you all, right? Other than a quick one pager or something like that. We really do need to let you all know as the board members what we're doing. And like I said, this is, you know, what Stacy does. Stacy works hard to get this all together, right? But even when we have new board members, I'm not necessarily sure that they fully understand.
Well, it's not something we look at every day either. Stacy might look at it every day, but we don't look at it.
It's a great idea.
I do too. Is that a motion to approve that?
Yeah,
thought?
I make a motion to approve the shift in strategic plan reporting.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second John.
Thank you. All in favor? I think that's a favorable thing. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Just to leave that out. Okay, we're good to go. Thank you. I think it's a great idea. Now we got informational items. We got our final WIOA comprehensive monitoring report. So something spit out there.
It's in your packet, right? The one thing, like when you go through it, there's some things that they had that's just missing documentation and stuff like that. But the key thing to remember is the previous WIOA financial officer didn't necessarily do everything that that person was supposed to do. So this one here was a lot of catch up. But the big thing with it is there's absolutely zero findings, right, that couldn't be resolved. They were missing documentation. We provided the documentation. There's absolutely no disallowed cost in it or anything like that. It is a 100% clean report. All issues have been resolved. So
what she just said, the disallowed spending, that's the big thing.
that is
None of that happened, right?
right.
None of that happened.
Right. Yeah. So, that's what, whenever like the state comes in and monitors us yearly, right? But we internally monitor quarterly. So, and we do that so that we make sure that nothing goes wrong. Jennifer and them internally monitor themselves also. We do, like it's continuously watching on the client side to make sure that none of the funded services are being used fraudulently. So, but yeah, no disallowed cost, all findings are resolved. So it's a good report.
Stacy, can I ask a couple questions here if you don't mind?
Go ahead.
Go.
Yeah.
I've been through enough audits too to know that what looks like a lot of findings end up not being anything major. I guess my question, being a new board member, is how does the findings that were in this report differ from findings in the past? And are we confident that the resolutions that we put in place to address this will correct them moving forward?
So I will say I'm confident. Just because we have put in so many checks and balances, right? When Equus submits one of their invoices, right? Equus's side has already looked over it. So then me, Colin, typically we take turns. Sometimes it's all of us. But like there's always someone else looking over the invoice as well to make sure that the documentation is everything that needs to be in there is in there, right? And the way that works is like the state has a data management system that is Key Suite, right? So as we're getting the invoice and processing whenever somebody's been given an ITA or they're doing work experience hours or supported service, we have Key Suite open to make sure that the case notes and everything show that the 6 criteria is met, that that individual, right, is actually eligible for that funding. So on the thing that has the bulk of it, like when you look at this one part, the bulk of this is missing MapQuest, right? That wasn't uploaded into the work system. Now, a couple years back, there was a snippet And it was from Career Center to Career Center. Like if I'm going from Lexington Career Center to Georgetown Career Center, the state allowed us to just provide that snippet from Career Center to Career Center. It's always going to be the same of what that mileage was. The state at some point changed their mind and said, oh no, we need every single MapQuest that you're going. So like we kill trees like you would not believe in WIOA world. Because everything has to be paper and all that. So what you're seeing a lot of is just when it says missing documentation, it is a missing MapQuest. It is a missing receipt that the previous WIOA financial officer did not upload into the work system, into the state system.
And to their credit, that was like an understanding that it just wasn't something that, well, maybe she did just forget to do that herself, right?
The snippet.
The state was expecting a snippet, but they didn't need the whole MapQuest. Okay. So,
Right.
yeah, forget that.
So now, like even on the travel, like whenever Colin's looking at the travel, then he's making sure if they're, because like human error happens, right? Sometimes people forget to put a MapQuest randomly. I've done it before, right? I've done it before whenever I used to do travel. But luckily, back at that time, we had Michael Bushman was the WIOA financial officer then. So he was quick to say, hey, you're missing this. You need to get a copy of this, right? So, and that's what we're doing now. Colin checks, there's not a single thing that is not looked at by 2 or 3 sets of eyes whenever it comes to all our financial stuff and the things that gets uploaded as far as the drawdown request into the key suites, into the work system.
Thank you.
If anybody at Equus ever makes mistakes, because they're pretty good at it. So.
Yeah.
Good question. I think it's a pretty good explanation. David, are you satisfied with that?
Yeah, all good. Thank you.
Anyone else have some requests for additional information or conversations to be had?
Yeah, this is Connie. I was just going to say, just looking at this, obviously, and sitting on 2 boards, but knowing that you do have checks in place, because there's an awful lot of no supporting documents, and a lot of money involved with that. So I feel confident, Tiffany, if you say you have things in place that are going to be checking this as we move forward, I'm good with that. Because there's an awful lot on here.
There he is. But if you've got a whole team that traveled to a conference, right? Because that's when it was in Louisville. And the person didn't upload, the person didn't do their job uploading stuff. You know what I mean? Then, Equus can provide it, right? Equus provided the documentation, especially on the SETA. Because if that's what you're looking at on the money on the SETA stuff. But the previous WIOA financial officer did not upload that into the work system. And then whenever the state monitored, they pulled that month and all that was missing. So all we had to do is supply it to them. But we upload it all now, don't we? More than what they need. They get everything.
Good deal.
Any more comments, questions? Well, I'm confident. Let's go on to school board meeting location change. What's this, Tiffany?
It's going to be at the Career Center.
Awesome.
What we're wanting to do is start transitioning our full board meetings to the Lexington Career Center. I think it's very important that you all come and you see what's going on there and everything. And what better way than to make it to where y'all got to come there for meetings. So that's the only thing that's about. And when it gets closer time, we'll make sure that everybody has the address and all that stuff. But yeah, we're just going to have them at the Career Center from now on.
I like it.
It's because it's closer to where you were.
Yes. I don't have to do the U-turn thing.
And Connie,
And
it's
to-
going to be in your conference room, so we need to make sure we get those dates booked ahead of time because
I've
we'll
been
have to
talking
hold
to
it
Steve.
in your big conference room.
Yeah, and that should be fine. Yeah, do an event. And good news, just this past Friday, we installed a 115 inch projector screen. So it's on the wall and a new projector. So it looks pretty good. So that's what I think is going to be really good for us when we move over there. Yep.
Great.
But yeah, I'd already talked to Steve about reserving the room. Thought
Now we've got,
Starting in June.
Start June the
Yes.
5th, June the
The
5th.
next meeting.
Mhm.
So, okay.
Any questions about that? Before I move on. I think a lot of us have been there. Almost all of us have been there. It's a nice, parking area and great location. So. Workforce report, and we got Stacy and Rolly kind of tag teaming and then Tiffany finishing it up for us. Stacy.
I believe my first one is it the sector reports because the
Got
document.
strategic and also sector's number 2.
Okay, so strategic plan realignment. I just want to let you know, like Tiff was talking about, I've got the couple of sheets posted. I'm so happy that you guys agree about the change. That's very exciting for me as somebody who's reporting the information to see it actually and was deeply invested in the creation of the strategic plan. So happy about it. But to see that change, because I think it's gonna reflect a lot better on what everybody is doing and kind of communicate it better. So for right now, the realignment report is bgwib.us/planning, and then you can click on the previous ones or the one I'm just reporting on now, or the full realignment and the original plan. So I think everything is on that one page for you guys to view. And going on to sector reports, under sector reports, the quarter, I think it's Q2 of 2023, just came out. You guys should have received an email on it. It is also posted bgwib.us/sectors. As always, if there is a separate sector you would like more information on, or if there's a separate report entirely you want to know if we could get for you, please contact us. We have that wonderful program Jobs EQ that we have access to. Either Rolly or I, and I believe maybe Hannah even can pull some reports from there if you need it. So just reach out to us. And that concludes my report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions for Stacy before we let her chime out? No? Thank you, Stacy. Rolly, you're up. We got BG Cap updates.
Yeah, so I know we haven't talked about BG Cap in a while, it seems like, but we're still working with them. And everybody's got their own little moving piece with it. So, we've been doing rapid responses with them. Todd's been doing a great job leading the rapid response sessions. Up to date, we've done 4 rapid responses with them. The last one was on February 6th.
Can you just explain to the group what BG Cap actually is?
So BG Cap is the Army Depot closure that's going on right now in Richmond. So right now they're working on closing it down. And truth be told, we're all still learning about all the moving pieces in there because there's a lot more to it. And every time that we meet with them, something new pops up. So we have been working with the contractors there, which those include Amentum, Bechtel, Parsons, all those other contractors, and they're going to be laying their staff off away from the Bluegrass Army Depot. Tiffany and Kevin and myself met with Sam Jones. He's with the Bluegrass Chemical Activity, which is another separate group within the Bluegrass Army Depot. He's got a group of individuals that's going to be getting laid off as well. Theirs is more of a, their staff won't really see much of a reduction. But the way he explained it to us, be a steady reduction throughout the process. But theirs is more on the, I guess you can say on the weapons and the chemical side of things. He has about 150 employees that's going to be losing jobs. Bechtel, Parsons, I guess what you call the plant side, we've heard anywhere between 18 to 800 or 900 staff members. So take it for what you will. It's been identified as positions as more than staff. But we've been working with them to do the reduction. Also, Sam Jones with the Bluegrass Chemical Activity has also notified us there's a third group, which is the security officers, that they're also going to be getting laid off as well. So we're going to be working hopefully with that group as well to help them connect them with opportunities and resources as well. We have been conducting rapid responses, and if you guys don't know what a rapid response is, it's when we bring a team together to provide different resources as reduction occurs. And it's usually an easy way for them, what's next, whether they need to draw unemployment, whether they want to know information about the benefits and retirement, whether it's connecting them with OBR or adult education. Really, it's just providing all sorts of different partners so they can provide their information and making that transition from that particular job to whether it's unemployment or losing their job to another opportunity employment, making that transition just a little bit better. It's never good about losing your job, but that's what we're there for, trying to hopefully provide resources and opportunities. Since then, we've conducted 4 rapid responses since they started. The last one we had was in February 6th. We've also, the Career Center in Richmond has also been open every Friday to provide resume assistance, job search assistance, really any type of assistance that they need, whether it's connecting them with our WIOA services or providing information on what's available out there to them. So every Friday, there's a staff member in Richmond that's basically said, I'm dedicating my time for you to show up. Back when all this first started, Stacy had created a web page. As you all, I know this is stuff you guys have heard before, but it's still available to them. She created a secured web page for them. They're been made aware of it. All they have to do is go to it, and all sorts of resources and information is on that web page as well. So honestly, we've just been working with them, trying to provide information and resources and guidance. They do have it. We don't have a whole lot to do with it, but they have asked us for recommendations on employers and things of that nature. But they're conducting their own job fair for their staff at the Madison County Fairgrounds on April 24th and the 25th. So it's a 2-day event. So they're going to be conducting their own job fair. It's not, they have their own staff that does that reduction piece. So they're going to be doing that. So
businesses around, so we're doing just like a regular job fair.
We've made the recommendation of what busines's they should
Okay,
invite.
you're helping with that. Okay.
Whether they invited them or not, no, it's kind of been just a recommendation at that point. The argument that they made to us is that they make a lot of good money and they want businesses that pay good money.
Yeah.
So, but we feel like we've been recommending good businesses to them, so hopefully they've taken our advice with it.
Overall, just how many, different players out there, the vast number, how many employees are going to be losing and transitioning?
Okay. You want me to do this one?
If you want to.
Okay, so they originally told us 1,800. They provided a list of positions that was only 851. It wasn't until we met with Sam that we realized that he had 156. And then there's 100 and how many security guards?
About 150, 200 security guards.
So,
You're getting piecemeal.
We can try to answer that question the best we can, but the number of actual employees, honestly, we've been told anywhere between, that's why I said that range is between 1,800 to 900. Right. But honestly, they haven't really given a straight answer.
Yeah, and like some of the things that we've done too is we met with Aaron, there at BCTC, because they have the adult learners where they can get, I'm going to say it the wrong way. Yeah, and things like that. So all we can do is we've let CDO know, this is the spreadsheet that we have that we think how the layoffs are happening, right? Of what the information they provided us. So the only thing we're doing is every time we can, if we think of another resource, we try to pull it in for when those people do start coming into the offices. that we have those available. I would love to say like normal layoffs, you get a clear number.
Yeah.
But let us also keep in mind, this is a federal contract, so it's always a little muddy.
Yeah.
With those.
And then to wrap it up, a national dislocated worker grant submission was completed. So we're waiting guidance and word from that, whether we receive it or not, and or what recommendations they provide us on that level. But if it does get approved, then we'll have additional funding to provide resources and trainings and on-the-job training opportunities.
But we have funds now, like
Correct.
anybody can come on in now, and we got money to help them, and they would be considered an incumbent worker because they've already gotten their layoff notice. They know it's happening, so we don't have to wait for them to get laid off to start helping them. And we have screamed it from the rooftops, and we've had one individual come to see us.
And the thing is, and this is where it makes it unique, is that you can't just like, you know, if Piston was laying off, I can go to Piston and show up and talk to the HR manager and we can have a conversation. You can't just show up to the Army Depot anytime you want to. You have to have a clearance and security and all that stuff. So, you want me to go to the next one or you?
Yes, yeah, go on. The Quest.
So then the next is the Quest grant. So this is a grant that we're working with, that has been submitted and we have received. It's $200,000 grant to work with about 30 participants in the Shepherd's House, whether it's the Shepherd's House men here in Lexington or the women there in Danville. But really, it's creating a work-based learning opportunity for those individuals that are in Shepherd's House. It's not just first 30, first come, first serve. We've had some conversations with Shepherd's House to really identify some individuals that would be a good fit that we can place in the work-based learning so they can be successful and take that next step in their career pathway. With these employers, we initially started out with manufacturing and construction is what we're looking at, making no less than $15 an hour. So that's the key point there, is that they can't make nothing less than $15 an hour. And it's going to be up to 280 hours. So that work-based for this particular project is going to be for 280 hours. And really the whole concept in all this is really identifying 30 individuals that we're going to really kickstart their career at the Shepherd's House. And that should cover both of them, unless you all have any questions on either.
Hey, Rolly, I got a quick question. The students that, or the clients that you're serving at the Shepherd's House, will they have already have to have a GED to go into the program?
They don't necessarily have to have a GED.
Or high school diploma, I should say, not a GED. Go ahead.
No, that honestly, they don't have to have it just for us to serve them. But if if a specific employer requests it, then that's something that we can do some sort of recommendation. So for instance, like if we're working with a specific employer and they say, hey, look, they have to have at least a minimum of a GED or a high school diploma, then we would reconvene with that employer and see what options are available, whether they would take them. Because sometimes some employers feel like we'll take you as long as you complete your GED within 6 months. Or sometimes we'll say, no, absolutely not. But whether we can work that out with the employer, but going into it, no, there's no recommendation or requirement for that.
So I will say, now, somebody would, Jennifer's staff does a great job of talking to people about their GED.
Mhm.
So if someone is wanting training, then they have to have a GED. You know, we're not going to put them in another training. But if they're going for a work experience like what Rolly's talking about, though, the staff still talks about the importance of a GED. When I was a case manager, I always made sure to tell people, like, it's easier to get a felon with a GED a job than it is somebody that doesn't have a record and doesn't have a GED. Because there's more out there once you get your high school diploma or GED. And Jennifer's staff does a great job of talking about that.
Yep. Any more questions on BGCAP or the Quest grant?
Have you already got any candidates at the Quest kind of
As
pre-looked at or vetted in?
As of today, no. I was talking to Jennifer, not as of today, but we're still waiting for Shepherd's House to provide. I mean, we don't want somebody who's.
No, yeah,
who's still,
it'd
but-
be, kind of a group effort to
Right.
get the right candidates, yeah. Any questions for Roland before we let him off the hook? Hear none. Thank you, Roland. All right, Tiffany, we got the wheel updates.
I'm gonna popcorn it to Hannah about SETA. Is there anything?
Just make sure you got your SETA app on your phones. Check-in, starts at 4. Yeah, it starts at 4. And for anyone who does the sports ball, Kentucky and Tennessee play each other at 4 as well, so time accordingly. We're happy. We need to be there before, so just as an FYI. Any problems checking in, reach out to me. I've got copies of everybody's everything.
And also, please do not charge anything to your room, right? We spent, there was about 7 emails and about a 45-minute call on one SETA conference room that had charged something to their room. They paid it separately, because they had their card on reserve, but please do not charge anything to your room. It just creates chaos whenever we do the drawdowns, right?
And it all worked out fine.
It all worked out fine, but it does create some hiccups and
It
chaos.
just, even though it was highlighted in bright yellow and, it said they paid this separate, and you can point to the detail of the draw spreadsheet that showed we paid $900 for this room. And this additional 30 was not there in our charges at all that we covered. The person reviewing it, if it still caused an issue, it caused a discussion, and we had to make it very clear that we do not put alcohol charges on our tab. So and this was paid, and we just walked through it, and everything was square. So
yeah. So just
it was just a miscommunication that was totally unnecessary.
Right. But yeah, if you just don't have anything on there other than the hotel room, we're good. It makes it a whole lot easier on us. So yeah, and then any of the other updates, I still keep pointing out, it's on my radar about the WIOA reauthorization. They're still talking about, I still say there's too much going on in the United States right now for them to worry about getting this reauthorized, but who knows? As quick as we hear something, we'll let you all know on that. I do have a call. The state did reach out to all the local areas. There is an apprenticeship grant that the state is applying for, and they've asked the local areas to be the intermediaries on it. The directors have a call on Friday. Our work-based learning, the way that we have it set up, is kind of already almost like it's the pre-apprenticeship part. We would just have to develop out a little bit more. I'm excited about it because me and Rolly's already been, Rolly's been hollering for a long time. We need to do more with apprenticeships. So I'll keep you all up to date on that. Like I said, all the directors want to have a call. I guess they're all wanting to go together and say yes or no, but Bluegrass will be saying yes, regardless what the rest say, just because apprenticeship is so strong in the Bluegrass. And if we don't if the local workforce areas don't realize the value to apprenticeship and partnering with the state will partner with someone else and we will lose out on funds.
I can expand on that outside of us. My other workforce board I'm on actually has already been granted and for the past 2+ years, expansion grants for apprenticeships. And they take care of my Tennessee apprenticeship program very nicely.
Can we come talk to them?
Yes. So so much money's divvied up.
Yep.
And then the local, being us, with the staff, would figure out how much and how many they're going to support and X amount of dollars per new apprentice. That's what happens.
Yeah.
So certain timeline for our apprenticeship guys, certain timeline from a certain date to a certain date, however many new apprentices gets enrolled, X amount of dollars for wherever it gets spread to.
And that goes per like employee, right?
Well, it's
Or
for
that-
the
that goes on that
apprenticeships.
apprentice-
So we're still learning.
Well, I'm an employer and a sponsor,
Yeah.
so it comes directly to me.
Yeah.
I'm looking at about 50 grand coming to me pretty soon.
Because we,
I think
There's an
Mary
educational
Taylor
component.
somewhat about it.
It's
different, but
we
where
changed
it's-
them all.
Yeah, Mary's a little different category than this.
She'd be the educational provider in the intermediate.
Okay.
So we would support you all taking that on and let it talk further about it.
Yeah, well, if that happens, I'll be happy to share the knowledge that my other workforce boards already been doing for a couple of years.
Okay.
Yeah, if we don't have to reinvent the wheel, I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something that's working too as well, which is good.
Oh, it works great. That's the
Well,
reason why
listen.
I have a lot more registered Tennessee apprentices than I do Kentucky apprentices.
And it creates taxpayers, right?
Exactly.
It creates a taxpayer with a good career path. That's what we're about. So yeah. So that's
good news.
Yep.
All right, we've got some other items to deal with. Anybody got questions about that? We kind of took a little left turn there about apprenticeship grants because I'm very familiar with other states about it.
I have a question.
Yes.
Does everyone have to agree to be the intermediary, or if we say yes, we can? No matter if everybody else
Correct.
is not.
The only thing that'll happen is some of the other directors in the work and the other workforce areas will snarl their nose at me, but I'm used to that. They've done snarled a couple of times.
I'm just saying it's not.
No, it's not
a
all or
situation
nothing.
where-
No, each area can decide.
Okay.
I just know by the original call that we were on the other day with the state that, I get it, it's heavy lifting, right? And it is, it's heavy lifting to start something, but, I was also just raised that the easy stuff really ain't the stuff you need. Right? So, and it would be different if I didn't think that that we don't have good competent staff to be like, hey, we can get this done. Now, is there going to be some that we're like, holy, well, that didn't go the way I think it should go, but we know how to back up and punt in bluegrass and roll another way. So yeah, so
I'm just thinking about all the apprenticeship programs that are in our 17 counties.
yes,
The law, I mean, we're talking massive amount of apprentices that could be, supported with this grant. And that would increase the apprenticeship enrollment, that increase the reach from the employers, it increase everything. I've had this conversation on a state level with the apprenticeship council. I'll table that because we got other things to talk about.
yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, well, good luck. Hopefully we get that. Get that going.
Where are you gonna go with that?
Well, I think as a state, all the other directors can go with it as well.
I did.
There's no reason not, and friendship is pretty large in Kentucky. Okay, we got Jennifer talking about our direct service provider.
Hello, everybody. If my internet cuts out like it did last time, somebody wave their hands and I'll turn my camera off. But in your packet, you have the January customer report. And we'll go through some of the high points and then if you all have any questions. But as you all know, we intentionally started the year off pretty slow. And then to put that in perspective, at the end of December, we had enrolled 10 participants for 6 months. And then during the month of January, we enrolled 10 participants. So we doubled up in January just in that 1 month. So enrollments are definitely increasing. We have initiatives in place, ideas going on that we can exhaust and contribute, our money to the community. So we're fine. The best news that I can share today is that we currently have 3 case managers covering 17 counties. And as of March 18th, we'll have 3 additional case managers. So we're bringing on 3 case managers on March 18th. So that means we can serve more people, we can enroll more people, and get our funding picked up. So we do have a good plan in place. We continue our outreach efforts, so we're connected with all of our libraries. Todd leads that in our 13 counties that we don't have brick and mortar offices. Our staff connect with adult ed offices every month, either on site or by phone or communication. We have picked up a heavy outreach effort on foster youth, that population. And then obviously we continue to work with the recovery population. So as Rolly mentioned, we're partnering with Shepherd's House in Lexington. We have a case manager that's on site at Isaiah House every other week in Mercer County, serving those individuals in recovery. And then Jeff, our case manager here in Richmond, is on site at Spark, and that's in Powell County, serving recovery every month. So we still are serving those key populations. We have some initiatives in the works to where we can spend some money and skill up some people, like in Estill and Powell County is the first one on our plate. So we're partnering to maybe do some CDL training in Estill and Powell. So we have lots of good things in the works for the upcoming months. We have staff that can assist Jeremy with our VR events. We have staff that are out doing expungement clinics and job fairs every month. We have added a second business service consultant. So we increased from 1 to 2. It was one person covering 17 counties. And for any board member that doesn't clearly understand the role of the business service consultant, so essentially what we have in our career centers are 2 teams. We have a case manager team and a business service team. And the case manager team gets the job seeker job ready, and they do the interview prep, the resume prep, all of that. And once the job seeker's job ready, then they hand that over to the business team. And the business team's role is to get them connected to the workforce. So we have one person doing business in 17 counties up until just a couple weeks ago, and we added a second. And Todd's done a great job at helping with that team as well. But we are happy to have a second one. And then the one thing that I wanted to highlight is the success story. And so Connie, you're going to enjoy this. You were on the email, I think, but I really just copied and pasted the email into the report. And so this is an example of how a job seeker was in the Lexington, Kentucky Career Center. Connie's staff worked with that job seeker, and then they connected with our business service person, Tamara, in that office, and just worked together until the job seeker found employment. And then the job seeker was kind enough to give us a little bit of a success story back. So I thought that everybody would appreciate that partnership success story this month. But that's pretty much everything. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Anybody got any questions?
I'm happy to see those additions.
Yes, ma'am. That's the best part of the whole report. We're doubling our staff, 3 to 6.
Good.
And I really appreciate the success stories. I mean, that's why we're doing this. So thank you for including that.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
Look forward to this part of the meeting, every meeting, to hear success stories, see the good work, in some type of report that we can see that good things are happening. Anyone have some questions or comments for Jennifer? I seen Dave grab something. I thought he was getting ready to unmute himself.
I was multitasking there for a second.
All right, thank you, Jennifer. And Todd, you are like the wrap-up king for our meetings, right?
All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody. In your package, you'll see the report from January, just a couple highlights. So still working with Rolly and our business service team to just get out there serving our employers. So helping the new folks get back established and attending a lot of meetings with them. Doing our hiring events, basically in December and January, we were really heavy on the VR events. We are coming up on a busy season for our business service team. Rolly and I just met with them last week, and we've got a lot of job fairs that are coming up. This is typically the time of year that those get started. So we'll have a lot of that coming up in the next coming months. And then Stacy and I are always recording our community resource and business minutes. So if you've got something for us, reach out to Stacy. We've done several with the ad. We've done some with a couple of the board members. But if you've got something going on in your community or your business or your organization, just reach out to Stacy and we will get those scheduled to do. A couple updates on a few other things that aren't on the report. I know we had mentioned in several meetings, we are trying to still work out some additional space in Richmond. The first steps of those, many of you may remember, when we downsized the staff back last March, we had some additional space there in Richmond. And Ryan, I knew, needed folks in the OBR area to cover Richmond. So they've already moved in along with some staff from adult education in our Richmond office. We've been working with the state for a long time now. And Ryan, I'm happy to report that I've talked with Wayne and I've talked with John, and they should be sending me the lease for the existing space this week. I've been told that is the first step to try and getting additional space because it will just at that time be an add-on. So hopefully we get the lease back and it's pretty cut and dry since we've just recently done one in Lexington. And then once we get the existing space in lease, we can talk about the addition of that space that's came open since Kentucky River Foothills has moved out. If you're not familiar with the Richmond office, we've been sharing the space with Kentucky River Foothills. They recently just moved to a new location there in Madison County. And so the space is actually available. They have let us see the space. All the partners have came down and taken a look at it. Everybody's really interested in trying to get that done, but it a little easier said than done, unfortunately, when you're dealing with real properties and facilities. But with getting this initial lease taken care of, it should make that a little bit easier is what I've been told, Ryan. So I've been waiting to see the lease, but I talked with John in Real Properties on Monday, and he assured me he was going to have that lease to me this week for David and the folks at the ad to look over and get signed. Once they do that, hopefully we're able to move a little quickly on getting some additional space there in Richmond for OBR, adult ed, and then, of course, our staff with Jennifer's folks at the direct service provider. So that's kind of my updates. If you've got any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Anybody got questions for Todd?
I don't have any questions. I just say thanks to Todd and Jennifer for letting us squat there in Richmond for gosh, close to 2 years since we started this process. Which I don't, if I could type a lease and get it to you, you'd have had it 2 years ago. But in terms of, it has benefited us because we've been able to serve hundreds more people in Madison County in particular. I say hundreds, it goes up every month. We're slammed with people in that area. Some of y'all remember we used to have a pretty nice career center in Richmond, a really nice career center in Richmond. It got sold and then we had to move people, disperse folks. A lot of our folks went to Georgetown, Scott County for some reason, and they all lived down and towards Madison County and Somerset and down in that area. And it really, we lost a ton of referrals in that area. So now folks know that we're there and that office is, it's well known now. So we've been able to touch a whole number of more people. And last year we had close to over 300 successfully closed cases just in Madison County alone. So thanks to you all again for letting us, hang out there. So we're gonna pay you. Like I said,
Nice.
a couple years late, but we appreciate it.
Yeah, and Todd, I think that the CDO, I think our intent is still to lease one of the spaces. So hopefully we can get some momentum going on that as well.
Yeah, Connie, I think that from my talks with Wayne and Real Properties, like if we just get this initial lease signed and we're just talking about adding space, that is a much less painful process. So hopefully we get this one hurdle done and we'll be able to get to the finish line on that other side a little quicker. So fingers crossed.
The main thing about that, it would make the Bluegrass have two comprehensive
Richmond,
and Lexington.
yes. Right,
We'd have two comprehensive.
right. I think Richmond, as far as population, has got enough, right, to support that?
Yeah.
All right, anybody got any questions, comments? I do appreciate everybody being here, and I love the ending to see where we're at. And actually, a lot of good information shared today, lots of good information. I'm looking forward to the future. I'm gonna talk, Tiffany, I'm gonna have some conversations about the expansion grants that's possible. And that would help all friendship areas, so. Looks like our next meeting is gonna be June the 5th at the Career Center. And Connie's providing drinks, right?
And
You
charging
got
them to our room, so it'll be perfect.
Yeah.
Connie always comes through. Connie always comes through.
Yeah.
I'm sure we can work it out.
Yeah. All right, with that, I look for a motion to adjourn.
I'd like to make a motion to
Got a motion to adjourn, got a second? All in favor?
You got a lot of work on it.
See, yeah, not much work. See everybody in June, if not sooner.